Welcome to the Common Thread podcast. I'm Jennifer O'Neill.
And I'm Byron Jackson.
And this is a place where we listen to stories and try to find the common thread that runs through all of us.
Good night, day, morning, whatever it is. This is, I hope I get this right, Jennifer. Is it a common thread?
Yes.
Because we've been corrected.
We've been schooled,
As people will see soon, we know the correct pronunciation for our words. How are you?
I'm good.
So your mom, she decided to run her car into another person.
That's right. Yes. And that did not turn out so great.
And so is she okay?
She is okay. She's getting out of the hospital today. They kept her for a couple days for just some bleeding, but nothing internal. So that's good.
That's good. Now, do you want to go like when I know we have a guest, but she's not busy. So anyway, so do you want to go when they're giving your mom like morphine, but you have to stay there with your mom in that uncomfortable chair. So do you want to go?
Can I have some sympathy
yes,
morphine?
Sympathy morphine.
For my sympathy pain, please.
Now, you are a nurse too.
Yeah.
Now, do you jump in and start giving them advice?
No. I will ask a question here or there, though.
One, I've been around you. You ask a lot of questions. So we have a wonderful guest today.
That's right. Yeah.
And so
I'm excited.
You are our first white person that we've had on this show.
Well, our first white male.
Right. Our first white male. Well, we
had a white female.
Who was that?
It was Tony, who transitioned out of homelessness.
Okay, well, we have a male who remembers much better than me. So, well, welcome. This is Wes Milbourn. Did I say that correctly?
That is correct.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Vice President and General Manager, KFOR TV and radio, or just TV?
No, just TV.
Just TV. And TV. Channel 43. What's that? KAUT?
KAUT. Mm-hmm.
KUT. What did I leave out?
Oh, that's and then about 6 other stations we push out. We push out a total of 8 TV stations from our plant.
Do you?
Yeah. Two main ones that you mentioned, and then each of those main stations have 3 sub-channels that we push out with different type of programming.
To different cities?
No, to our viewing area. They're over the air. Mm-hmm.
So there's 6. So I could go
cable.
through. I could find 6 of your stations.
You could find 7 of the 8 on. You could find 8 of the 8 on over-the-air antenna.
Wow.
Or 7 of the 8 at least on Cox Cable. They carry all but one of our sub-channels.
Awesome.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Tell me your view on social media, because there's probably less about you on social media than any of the guests I've ever had.
Okay.
Do you do that?
First of all, thank you for the invite here, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good move.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, I know.
You know to watch out.
By the way, I'm talking to my Hoka brother.
That's
we both
right.
wear Hoka tennis shoes.
Which I did not know, but...
You did not know that?
I did not know you had a Hoka brother.
I do have a Hoka brother.
That's
we
right.
have a song. He's my Hoka brother. He's my Hoka brother. We sing it in Rotary.
Byron's a lot better dancer than I am, too, in the Hokas, let me tell you.
I tell you, Wes was a president of our Rotary Club, which is Rotary Club 29 in Oklahoma City.
Yep.
And you were hilarious.
Oh, well, thank you.
You made those meetings. I know I talked to Leslie after you were president no longer.
Yeah.
And she said, living up to Wes is really intimidating.
Oh, well, thank you.
Because you just make it very fun and funny. And you have a way of pulling people in.
Oh, yeah.
It's
called picking on them.
Yeah, but it's usually the people that give you the most crap.
That's right.
You pick out on purpose. You will like go, hey. You guys from, what is it, the Horned Frogs or the?
It's the Baylor Bears.
The Baylor, yeah, the Baylor
Bears. Jim McDaniel.
Yeah, you go after that.
He would harass me on those Baylor Bears, and I would say the Baylor Cubs. just to get at him. And I was talking one time about how great the season was here a year or so ago for the University of Oklahoma women's softball, and that they were heading to the World Series with a 61-1 record. Well, soon after I said that, here comes a note to the podium, who was the one on the 61-1. And I'm looking out there, and it's Jim McDaniel, and I say, well, I need some help on this. I think it was the Baylor Cubs, something like that, or Baylor Kitty Cats or whatever. So try to have a little fun and get back with people. But, yeah, that was a very enjoyable experience, being the president of the Rotary Club of Oklahoma City, Club 29, as you said, which is, and when I say this to folks, their eyes really get big. Our club is the third largest Rotary Club in the world.
Wow.
In the world, not in Oklahoma City, not in Oklahoma, not in the United States of America, but in the world. And we're very proud of that. We hover around 600 members, and each Tuesday down at St. Luke's, we have approximately 190 to 200 consistent Rotarians coming to have great networking and a great meal. St. Luke's takes excellent care of us, but most importantly, great programs. And we've had a lot of fun during my period, which I kind of focused a little bit around what my career was, and had folks like Lee Allen Smith there. We had Brent Venables, brand new head football coach at University of Oklahoma, and so I kind of a little bit of a joke there. I said, and I'm a K-State grad. I'm originally from Manhattan, Kansas. We moved down here. My wife and I moved here in '78, so we've been here for 46 years. And all three of our kids were born and raised here, all educated here. But what the university, and I would tell Joe Castiglione this, is that, K-State's running your university. We got, Bob Stoops, Lonnie Kruger, Brent Venables, me. We're running your university, Joe.
That is true.
So all of those guys are K-State oriented, and of course Brent and Bob played under Bill Snyder, a great football coach at K-State, and it's Bill Snyder Stadium is the field. And so that's kind of my joke that I dig at him a little bit. And there were many years when we first moved down here that I would a lot of OU people would give me a hard time. So I'd give them a harder time before the game, before the games would start, because I knew after the game I wouldn't have anything to say. Because back then we just would get pelted until Bill Snyder came along and
pelted back.
And I got to witness back in 1969, K-State, back in Lynn Dickey's era, K-State beating the University of Oklahoma by their worst defeat ever, and that record was held for many, many years. And then K-State came down to OU the next season and won. So won 2 in a row, which was kind of unheard of back then with the powerhouse of the University of Oklahoma. And back then, K-State was pretty good. Vince Gibson was the coach back then.
That's probably when Chuck Fairbanks was coaching the Sooners then, wasn't he?
I'm not sure.
Because Switzer started in 71.
Okay.
And so in 69. That probably got...
That probably the two back-to-backs from K-State beat them.
I was thinking that.
Okay, next coach.
Okay, Wes, we have some personal questions to ask you now.
Uh-oh.
So 3 words, and Jennifer, you could play too if you like. 3 words that describe you.
Well, tall, not very good looking, and a lot of fun to be around.
So fun, tall, good looking.
No, I'm not good looking. I said no.
Okay.
No. I'm the white guy here. I'm not good looking.
You are a great looking guy.
I think so too.
You're like very handsome. You're like movie star handsome.
Yeah, like Bridget said, you're dapper.
Don't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm embarrassed. Dude.
Look at Bridget out there. She's 12 and she's nodding her head.
She's 12.
Her words.
So
well, thank you. no, I've had a great childhood. I don't know if you want me to go into that at
Yeah,
all.
that'd be great.
I am what you call a career broadcaster. I started broadcasting. Hopefully, I might be able to, get behind a control board and do some rocking and jocking and joking and stroking. We spun the platters back then. Sound like some of the current DJs on the air. Started broadcasting at the age 15. And it was kind of a funny deal. I have an older brother, my brother Tom, about 6 years older. He is 6 years older. And he was working at the local radio station, KMAN 1350 on your radio dial in the heart of Manhattan, Kansas. And my parents had asked me to give him a call at the radio station to see when he's going to be home for dinner. So I dial up the radio station, and a gentleman says, hello. I said, is Tom Milbourn there? And he goes, who? I go, is Tom Milbourn there? Okay, well, just a minute. Well, talk to my brother, figure out when he's coming home. Well, after he got home, he said, do you know who answered the phone? I go, no, a gentleman. He said, well, that was the general manager, Lowell Jack. And he wants to see you tomorrow and get you on the air as well. Wow. And that was kind of my interview. It's, some of your best interviews are when you don't know you're being interviewed. And was blessed from my dad. My dad had a great baritone voice, and so my brother and I actually sound very similar. We look similar. He went a little different route in the business. He is a TV anchor person for all of his career, and just recently retired in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So he's a Packer fan.
He's a Packer fan.
So I got my job at age 15 and was behind the mic for 9 years. And that was during high school and college. And when there was a sales opening at that radio station, they asked me to move into that position because I knew the ins and outs and all the programming and everything about the radio station. So they thought that would be a good move. And when I was in college, I met a kid from Oklahoma City by the name of Tommy Cheatham. Tommy was on the varsity baseball team at K-State and was a pitcher. And so we're in class together, sports, broadcasting. We both just hit it off. We had great friendship. And so after graduation, within probably about a year, maybe 6 months to a year, he gave me a call and said there was an opening at WKY Radio. And really didn't know too much about the history of WKY. So I did come down and interview for it. And I'll be darned, I got the job as a sales account executive at WKY 930. And I got to work with people like Danny Williams and Ronnie Kay and Mike Monday and Jack Elliott. Jack Elliott and I started 1 week apart. He was there 1 week before I was. And what a great way to be introduced to Oklahoma City. WKY back then had 66% share of the marketplace. It had the best fidelity, too, of any radio station. AM radio station. I even thought it had better fidelity than the FMs because FMs weren't really cooking at that particular point in time. They're getting ready to come in. And so that's how I got my start here. Within a year of that, a gentleman by the name of Rob Adair had left the station, and they promoted me to be the general manager of the Oklahoma State Cowboys Sports Network. WKY was the flagship station. We had 30 football affiliates, had 15 basketball affiliates. So here I am. I'm in broadcasting. I love sports. I had, I was in heaven on this one. So got to work with Bob Berry Sr. Okay, that's where I got to meet him. Robbie Robertson. Both of those have passed now. Tom Dorado. He was our statistician. Bill Platt from Stillwater, Oklahoma, was my mic side on the sidelines, mic man on the sidelines, and so I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm just a young kid too. And so the first football game we had, it had to be 104 degrees on Lewis Field up in Stillwater, and everybody's just kind of sitting there, and they're sweating, they're dripping wet. So I get word from somebody that there's a possibility that Sugar Ray Leonard would be at the football game. Sugar Ray Leonard, the boxer. The boxer. For you young folks, a great boxer. Maybe not quite as popular as Muhammad Ali, but
pretty.
but he was pretty
yeah.
dang popular, and had a real short stature to him, where Muhammad was a large gentleman. And so about third quarter, I'll be darned, I see this entourage go across the west side of the stadium. Back then it wasn't built up, and go around to the other side of the field. And I'm thinking, how can I get him on the air talking to our radio audience? So I head over there, I introduce myself, and keep in mind, it's hotter than you know what. I said, "Would you like some Gatorade?" He says, "Sure." I said, "Well, come on down to the sidelines." And while we're going down, I said, "Would you mind spending a few minutes talking to our radio audience?" And so I brought Bill Platt over. And so he and Bob Berry Sr. would toss it back for the better part of that third quarter. He stayed that long down on the
that's
field.
So fun.
And my hook was Gatorade. Because it was hot. And so what a great outing, great first football game for me, and having Sugar Ray Leonard and getting him on the air. That was a lot of fun.
So to go back a little bit, when Bob Berry moved to Norman, so I went to the same church as him.
Yes.
And so I grew up around Frank and Bob Jr.
Yes.
And
BBJ.
Yeah.
Frank taught with my mom, and he was a teacher, in middle school,
Frank's a good guy.
He's a good guy. Yeah.
Good guy.
Bob's sense of humor was hilarious.
Oh, just
that dry.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know that he was just giving you the hard time. His wife was Joan. Joan was there.
I think so. Yes.
Joan.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm sorry. You speak, and I just started having flashes in my head.
Well, these are great memories. These are great memories, and great for 25-year-old kid, running a sports network and meeting, working with Bob Berry Sr. Holy cow! In the sports world, it didn't get any bigger than that. And so anyway, then after that, I left. I was there about 2 years, and then went into. I've always wanted to be in the television business. So I got my start actually over at my competition, Channel 9, in 1981, and was an account executive there for 10 years until I moved to Channel 4 in 91 as the local sales manager. And then through that 33 years, worked my way up the ladder to general sales manager, to executive vice president, to president and general manager. So
now, is it competitive for you to stay president and general manager of a station?
Is it
still competitive for you, or have you reached a point where you've been here long enough that you're safe, or is it still as competitive as when you're climbing up the ladder?
It's always competitive. You never want to rest on your laurels. You always want to keep learning. You always want to keep moving forward. You just, in our business, it's going like this all the time, and we have to be able to change with whatever's going on. And so competitive, meaning, do I want to do anything above being a general manager?
Just to keep your competitive,
keep your game,
keep where you're at, and able to be. Because a corporation could come in and just go, we're moving out, we're going in a different direction, and you're out. And so does it make you stay competitive just to stay in the game?
Well, you have to. You have to. I'm on my 5th ownership.
Wow.
I've survived 5 owners so far, and that's because I don't worry about things. I just do the best job I can. I don't worry about what's in it for me. I worry about what's in it for our customers and our listeners and our viewers. And if, for example, an advertiser advertises on our station, or back when I was an account executive, you paid on commission. I never thought ever how much I'm going to get paid if I make this sale, because that's all about me, and it's not what it is. It's about the customer. Yeah. Because if you make the customer successful, you are automatically successful. You don't have to worry about it, and he'll keep coming back, and coming back. I can't tell you how many years I had Kojak portable buildings on the air. What will it take to make you a Kojak building customer? If it's quality construction, Kojak has it. So back in the day, I approached Don Coppola, who was the owner back then, and he needed help in his advertising. Okay. So I sat down with him. I wrote the script. I starred in the script. My car was in the script. Okay. And took care of him. Okay. And I didn't worry about what it was in for me. I just wanted him to be successful and a long-term advertiser. And I bet for the better part of 30, 35 years, he was a customer of ours.
Well, I remember those Kojak commercials.
And so you really have to have the mindset. Don't think about what's in it for you, what's in it for the people you work with. If you take care of your employees, they're going to take care of you automatically. If they know you'll take your shirt off of your back to help them, they're going to take theirs off to help you. And that's the way you've got to kind of position yourself, to me, as a good manager. I'm not a micromanager. I don't like keeping a thumb on people, but I call myself an engaged manager, involved in their engineering stuff, their promotion, their news, their sales. Know the people, okay?
Could I back up with you just a little bit? So at some point, you were on the air.
Yep.
And you said, I'm going to go to sales.
Correct.
What was the decision that kind of pushed you in that direction versus a career like your brother to go into on the air? You said, I'm going to go in the sales.
That's a very good question. And I had the opportunity to go ahead and do exactly that and be an on-air anchor. And that opportunity was at WIBW TV in Topeka, Kansas. And when that opportunity came along, I had just switched into sales. I mean, like a month prior to that, weeks maybe prior to that. And here came this opportunity, and I'm thinking, I kind of like this sales thing. Let me give this a try. I've been doing what I've been doing behind the mic for 9 years. Let me try this other avenue and see if I like it or not. But I did have that kind of fork in the road, as Johnny Carson would say, take the fork in the road,
Mm-hmm.
and I went ahead and tried that, and I really liked it, and that kind of helped me get into the positions I've gotten into over the years.
I always think that life is inches and seconds, and how like a decision that takes a split second sometimes and takes us down a completely different path than we thought. And so it just fascinates me. Right. Like you had that opportunity to do.
I did. An anchor for that station. Yeah.
And then how that was such a right path for you. And
right.
Was all of your training on the job?
No formal training.
Yeah.
No. A God-given gift with the voice. And hopefully I still sound young and don't sound as old as we are, Byron. Right down here. Still try to be youthful, but no formal training. It's one of those things like an athlete, if you will. They've got the God-given gift, and ours happened. My brother and I both happened to get that from our dad.
I love that. Yeah,
and so we're very blessed with that. My brother had no formal training, just all on the job. And probably when I had my first newscast, I probably couldn't read 3 words in a row. I was so doggone nervous, but it soon panned out, and it was a great. I learned the broadcasting business from the foundation, and that's kind of the way I think anybody, if they go in any career, they need to learn it from the bottom up, and not go into something and immediately be given something. You need to earn it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to earn it, not be given it. And people that sit there and earn it and come through the ranks, earn their stripes, if you will, they're the successful ones. And again, don't think about what's in it for you. Think about what's in for your customers and how you can serve them.
So
There's-
what? Oh,
No, go.
I was just curious what your responsibilities are, kind of on a daily basis. Because I know you talked about supporting people, but it's got to be big.
Oh, ultimately, I'm responsible for everything that their station does. I say this to everybody in the TV station, no matter what your job is, no matter what you do in the TV station, the ultimate report card is what comes out on the air. That's the ultimate report card. No matter in front of the camera, behind the camera, in sales, in production, in engineering, that's the ultimate report card. In engineering, what if we're off the air? Ooh, well, your job is important to keep us on the air. And promoting the Olympics coming up this week.
That's right.
For the next 17 days, yes. And sales, if, we can't keep the lights on if you don't sell anything, okay? So no matter what their job is, the ultimate report card is that television set and people watching and inviting us into their homes, okay? In Your Corner has really blossomed, and we help people. Looking out for you is our slogan line. And we changed our format on that a little bit. And back in the day, Brad Edwards, bless him, started in Your Corner. And then we had Scott Hines, and we had Adam Snyder, and we had one person answering all those phone calls and messages. So wow. When Adam left us, we kind of retooled a little bit. If you're not willing to change, you need to change people, right? If you're not willing to change, you need to change people. So we're changing our thought process on it. And now all the reporters and anchors help out with In Your Corner, okay? Which gives us the opportunity to serve our community better rather than having one person serve the community and only do one story, okay? Now we got a plethora of reporters that can handle a lot more in helping people out in Oklahoma. And if you look at some of our promos, what we call POP, proof of performance, here was the problem. They worked on it for 6 months and couldn't get anywhere. They called us, okay? They called Channel 4, said, can you help us? Within hours, we got it fixed for them because we're making the phone calls for them, and we also have the cameras. And you'd be surprised how quick things get fixed. And folks really recognize the power of our television station in doing the goodwill in our community and looking out for our viewers, looking out for Oklahomans.
There's places that you go where people see you coming and shut that door because they don't want to answer that question. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, there's no comment. Well, we get that too.
Before we go, I wanted to ask you, because one of our beliefs here is about finding common threads that pull us together, like our stories pull us together, as you know so well. And we're such a diverse nation. Mm-hmm. And so we just kind of want to know your thoughts on that, just on the, how do you build threads with other people? How do you bring us together? What is your philosophy about how we do that?
One of the skills, if you will, I used in sales, let's just go back to sales or even today, is if you're meeting somebody for the first time. Okay, you're meeting them in their office and they're on their home turf. You look around and see what their interests are. Okay, and you may find only one or two, or maybe many interests that they have, and you pull that commonality in to your discussions, because what you don't want to have is the person you're talking to up here and you're down here. You want to level that playing field. If you'll remember, Brent Venables and I had never met before.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you remember on that particular program I had a little bit hard time getting him to pay attention to what I was saying on the podium. So I knew I could say, hey, Brent, attention up here. This is my field, not your field. If you don't be quiet, you're going to drop and give me 20. And everybody's just laughing and laughing. And then I was sharing a story about how my wife and I met in Manhattan, Kansas. We met in a bar. It's Kites in Aggieville was the bar. Kites in Aggieville, real popular hangout for fraternities and sororities. And And we met in Kites in Aggieville. And I was telling that story, and Brent Venables goes, "Hey, Wes, my wife and I, we met at Kites too."
Wow.
So it's that commonality and kind of getting to know, because we just kind of met right then and there early on, and putting some of that commonality together to pull us together. Okay. So now it's not the coach and me, it's here, and maybe a little bit more like this, but and it brought some really great laughter and breaking of the ice and commonality, that if you find that when you're meeting somebody, it's not so stiff, it's not so formal. Keep it informal and likable, and say, "Oh, I see you're a golfer." Okay. Yeah. Oh, what's your handicap? Well, I've got a 10 handicap. Well, my handicap's a 14. All 14 clubs in my bag. Like that. And a lot of people ask, "Well, what do you usually shoot?" And I say, "Well, I usually shoot in the 70s and 80s, but if it gets much hotter than that, I don't play." So that's how you start. At a golfer would really appreciate that. And I played sports all my life, and so I can kind of key in on some of those things, and have met a lot of people. And, "Oh, such and such. Oh, I see you have your picture there." And yeah, I've been blessed with that.
Before we go, you never shared your 3 things to describe yourself.
Yeah, I think I just kind of went blank on that.
Should I?
People always call me calm.
No dead air here. No dead air. No dead air. Keep it tight.
So,
Calm,
empathetic,
Yeah.
and adventurous.
very nice. I think that fits you well.
I like that, empathetic. You have to have empathy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Not so much, but empathy, and understand what they're going through. And I just recently came off in the immediate past president of the Committee of 100. Have you heard of the Committee of 100?
No.
Mm-mm.
Committee of 100 is a group of Oklahoma City business people. We have about 225 members, and we support local law enforcement and firefighters, okay? Usually with a banquet at the end of the year, at the end of our year, which is usually in March. And we reach out to all of the agencies in the metro area for them to submit applications on heroism from their departments, from the fire, from police, Edmond, okay, more, all across the metro. And we have a selection committee that awards those recipients at a banquet, black tie banquet, okay? Black tie banquet, and give them recognition and some monetary support for their heroism. Okay, that's the main thing that we do. In years that are not good, rough years, where one year we lost 3 officers killed in the line of duty, and 3 more severely injured in the line of duty. Well, it was my job to visit with the families and show them our condolences from the Committee of 100, and to award them, in this particular case of the killed in the line of duty, we would give the family an immediate $10,000 to help them through this immediate times. And so in doing that, you've got to have empathy. That's a tough call. That is a real tough call to do. But I still remember C.J. Nelson's wife, Jennifer, and daughter Emily, and son Connor, because I got to know them while I was there. And so that's just one example of how important, as you said, empathy is, and understanding other people's feelings, and sharing those feelings, and respecting what they are going through, and understanding it.
It sounds like you bring that to your station as a
Try
whole.
to.
Yeah.
I was
Yes.
going to say, if I was doing 3 words to describe you, it would be empathetic would be one of those words. Also, very generous.
Oh, thank
Generous with your heart. And
Thank you.
for being here. Thank you for has this been terrible?
This has been awful, I tell you.
Okay.
Thank goodness it's over.
My feet are killing me, so I need to take off my hokas so you can rub my feet, okay? Well, I've been very honored to be on your program, and thank you for the invitation. I hope your ratings go up instead of down when people watch or listen to this. And
thank you so much.
Well, this is actually a flagship show,
okay.
and you are our first guest
White guests.
White guests. That's right.
Thank
The
you.
next one, we're going Native American.
Okay.
So you are our first guest. And what we want to do is to highlight people who make a difference in Oklahoma City.
Oh, well, thank you.
And
Thank
so
you're very kind.
You're
very
number
kind.
one. So we do hope that it takes off. And
Okay.
And so thank you.
A common thread, right?
A common thread.
No, a common thread.
A common thread.
Yeah.
Not a common thread.
Right.
It's a common thread.
A apple, a common thread.
Okay.
The apple, the
A
common
banana.
thread.
Or the banana.
The banana.
Further and farther.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to go. Jennifer?
Hey, it's been the best, time we gotten schooled in a while, so that's good.
Thank you very much. Wes, thank you.
Well, thank you.
You
Thank
guys
I
stay
appreciate
safe
our
out-
friendship.
Oh, me
Great
too.
to get to
It
know
was
you,
great.
Jennifer.
Yeah, great.
And
Me
but
too.
our great friendship, we always hug it up when we're at Rotary together, and that's meaningful. That's that great networking
is,
and
yeah.
get to know people. And we didn't really know each other until
then.
Rotary.
That's-
Yeah, and then with him looking at my shoes, because I had foot surgery, so the doc says you need to start wearing Hokas. He goes, those are pretty good looking. So he went out and got some. So. But
I heard
did.
about it,
I did.
yeah.
He gets the real colorful ones.
She didn't give you the credit, by the way.
You didn't.
All I heard was Hoka.
You.
I found these great new shoes.
I was just happy with the Hokas. Wes,
Well.
thank you very much.
Oh,
We're
well,
out of
thank
here.
you again.
We're
Both
out of
of
here,
you.
Bridget. This podcast is brought to you by the Possibilities Podcast platform. Thank you for listening.